Somebody with a runny nose is gonna die.
Did you grow up with the NES, PlayStation, Star Wars, cartoons, and 80s TV? Do you like to think who would win in a fight between Batman and the Master Chief? Comics, games, movies, music, and TV. They're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of geeks. Comics, games, movies, music, and TV. They're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of geeks. This Week in Geek. This Week in Geek.
Hey guys, what's going on? You are listening to ThisWeekInGeek.net. I'm your host, Mike the Birdman, and I gotta say happy Halloween to all our friends out there in podcast land, but I'm not alone as we return with a special DVD, streaming, Blu-ray, whatever commentary, but I'm not alone. I'm actually joined in this intrepid adventure by my good friend, co-host, co-everything on ThisWeekInGeek.net.
Alex, the producer, who we're testing something new here, folks. Usually for commentaries, you want to be in the same room, but we're trying to find what is the best service to have the zero latency or as close to zero latency so we can all sync up and watch at the same time and not speak over each other.
Yeah, so this has definitely proven to be interesting. We're using a service called Zencastr, and originally we were going to have our friend from Loose Cannon, Aaron Paulier, join us, but we want to do a test bed because me and Alex are pretty close to each other geographically, so we want to make sure we're on the same hub, the same head end.
We're both on gigabit Ethernet, gigabit internet, same service provider, connecting to the same nodes. We're one city apart. And we're wired up, physically wired in. There's no Wi-Fi. We've got, wired headsets, mics in. We're like, whatever could possibly give us latency, we tried to reduce it. And so far, Zencastr seems to be the one that has the least amount of latency.
Yeah, so we are going to tonight's viewing, if you are watching this or not watching this, if you are downloading this or viewing this on our website, you should see the graphic that says, "This is Ernest Scared Stupid." This film came out back in 1991, directed by director John Cherry, who directed the 4 previous Ernest movies under Disney's Touchstone Pictures, being Ernest Scared Stupid, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Jail, and Ernest Scared Stupid, which this originally could have been called like Ernest Scared Stiff was one that was proposed. Ernest and the Curse.
I have the feeling the Stiff one they might have ex-nayed because they could have been interpreted as not PG.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was kind of figuring too.
Also, Stiff can be a reference to being dead. So,
yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to do that. And if you look, everything after this, except for the film that came right after, was a theatrical release, but it was of much lower quality. And eventually we'll get to doing all the Ernest movies, because I think there's a couple we each haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything past Rides Again. I haven't seen Slam Dunk. I haven't seen School or Goes to Africa or In the Army.
I've never seen School. I've seen School once on a rental. I never saw Rides Again. I never saw Slam Dunk, but I saw Africa and In the Army. And they're not great.
Yeah, so we will be talking about
but
these
first 4, especially the first one, had a high budget for what it was, and I remember seeing that back in the day. Saves Christmas was a staple of my childhood. This one, I'll get to it, but like I would say my favorite has always been Goes to Jail. I've seen that probably 300 or 400 times. It was one of those movies that when you came home as a kid from kindergarten and grade 1, you just pop it in the VHS machine and watch it over and over and over again. That and Transformers were pretty much my 2 go-tos. I think I had it on beta cassette. And then this one gave me nightmares, something fierce. As a kid, because this movie came out and I was probably about 5 or 6. And I remember seeing it, and it was Eartha Kitt playing the witch, right?
Yep.
I would have nightmares that she kidnapped me and was killing me and eating me. And like, as I would die in my nightmares, it was like a screen turned to fuzz, like when a channel turns off on the old analog signals, and then it would slowly fade away as like I would feel my heartbeat slow down, and I would wake up screaming. I like probably 20 or 30 nightmares recurring.
You are the person I know that has the most vivid dreams of anybody I've ever met.
Even as a kid, this ranks up there with the race car nightmare, where it would keep going faster and faster, and eventually throw me out of the car, and I would get run over and die. Like, I had a lot of nightmares as a little kid, and this, out of all the movies, this and Home Alone gave me the most.
Wow, you're fucked up.
But it was the furnace, man, that scared me.
For me, this is the only Ernest movie I ever saw in theaters, because I was a kid when this came out. I used to go to the Owen Sound Cinemas 3 before it became Cinemas 5 once upon a time in the Grey County Mall. If you happen to be from the Owen Sound area, you might remember that.
Whoop, whoop, represent.
Woo, the 519. So I remember going there, seeing this movie, being utterly amazed by how funny it was, how it hit all the right notes. I was a big Ernest fan. I like Ernest Goes to Camp is one of my all-time favorite feel-good movies. I've always been a fan of the character Jim Varney. I loved Ernest Saves Christmas. That was also a staple of my childhood. I would watch that during summer holidays just because I wanted to see Ernest again.
Oh yeah, I was always upset they never made the Easter Bunny one.
There was one. There was talk of him. There was rumors they were going to do a sci-fi one called Ernest Spaced Out, and that was supposed to be this one, but they decided to go with a horror movie one. The original pitch for this was supposed to be Ernest inherits a haunted house from a relative of the family, but that obviously didn't get made.
This might have been because Goes to Jail made money, but it made significantly less money than Christmas did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then this one made less. Like the peak was Christmas as far as money making. I kind of feel that I haven't seen this movie in 20 years, hence the nightmares, right? But I would say that Goes to Jail was probably the peak of their creative budget.
Yeah, like this one, like Goes to Jail, I saw when it came out on VHS. It's the one I remember the least. And it was okay.
We'll have to do that one.
Yeah.
Because that one, I watched it recently, and there are some jokes in there that are funny, not just for kids, but also there's very creative special effects and how they did trick photography for the dual role parts. Very well done and very well acted for a kids movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this one. I just know that everything after this got very direct-to-video hokey.
Yeah. Okay, so folks, without any further ado, we want you to get your streaming services ready, your DVD, your Blu-ray, or whatever legal means you have to watch this movie.
It is dirt cheap. If you're looking for a Blu-ray, it's like $5.
Exactly.
So if you like physical media, it's $5. If you're looking for streaming, if you have Amazon Prime, it's on Prime. And outside of that, I'm sure there's other, some of the movies are on Tubi TV. There's other streaming services you can get them on legally.
Yeah. So without any further ado, Alex, let's do a count in from 5. So you and I will start. Okay. Ready?
Okay. So everybody that's going to watch with us, have your player ready to go at 00, or on your TV ready to press the play button on your DVD menu. And we're going to count in from 5,
4, 3, 2, 1. Play.
Go.
You should see the Touchstone logo. Your counter should read 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We're in sync, buddy.
8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah, we're in Touchstone Pictures. Go get them. Man, I haven't seen this movie since probably the early 2000s, minimum. I saw this movie, like I said, in theaters. I had a very good experience with it. The people who did the special effects for this, the Chikaido brothers or whatever it is, did the special effects for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which you'll see a lot of that referenced in here. All the clips you're about to see now are horror movies that are in the public domain, which is fantastic.
Nosferatu.
Yep. I think when he fights the brain, it's like the brain from Planet Arus or whatever, or the battle behind the sun or something.
I'll tell you one thing. Varney was a much better actor than I think people gave him credit for.
Oh God, yeah,
He had a ton of range. It's just that people pigeonholed him into being silly.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, he is the physical comedian. Him and Jim Carrey. Had Varney stayed alive past the year 2000, whenever I think he passed away, I think he would have had a second career kind of renaissance. I really do.
He would have gone the route of the serious actor later on. The problem with him was he was a pretty heavy smoker.
Yeah,
and the cancer got the best of him, and you could see it in the last few roles. His voice had gotten pretty rough, and he had gotten kind of gaunt, but he still wanted to work because they weren't making a ton of money with the last few films. He genuinely loved making these kids movies.
Now, I heard, and I can't remember where I read this, but he would visit children's hospitals as Ernest because kids wanted to see him. And that's one of my great regrets in my life, is I never got a chance to meet Jim Varney, which, by the way, before we go any further, I made an offhanded comment on Facebook a couple weeks ago about Ernest, and my friend Natcha had said, because Ernest is love and Ernest is a babe. And you know what? I can't disagree with that, because I look at the genuine happiness this guy brought to so many people.
Well, there's a popular sort of meme that came about because Ernest Goes to Jail was played on the really popular podcast, How Did This Get Made? With a bunch of TV comedians that run it, like Paul Scheer and I think his wife and Jason Mantzoukas run it. And they even do live shows, or they did live shows before the pandemic. They did an episode where his wife's like evil Ernest when he plays as Nash and that.
Yeah.
She goes, he's looking kind of sexy. And like, it was a joke, but then there was a whole bunch of people on Twitter, all these women that are like, yeah,
thirsty for Ernest.
Yeah. They're like, wow, he's like kind of sexy in his like charismatic, demanding way. And here we go. So now we've got the first shots of a creature being captured.
He has failed his versus save traps role and was captured in a net, which I also found out about this too. Just all the different things that were done for this in terms of like the roles that Varney took on. Like, obviously this is him doing an ancestor where he pretends to be all the different characters, like Aunt Nelda, the weird Australian farmer, and all this crazy shit. And that always blew my mind, that a guy who is known for such a goofy character could ramp it up to 11, and it seemed so natural. Like, Varney seemed like the type of guy where you ask him to do something and he would just do it.
Well, and the whole Ernest character started as a
car commercial or something.
Well, he would do it. It was for these local commercials that the John Cherry guy made a whole lot of commercials and ad campaigns in the South and hired him to play that character. And the whole idea of Vern was the audience was Vern. And it became so popular that they decided to bank on making a movie. Like, it's literally like, what if a commercial star got so popular that they're like, we got to make a movie about this guy?
Thank God it wasn't like the Geico cavemen, although they somehow got a TV show.
they more like, thank God it wasn't the guy from the
the Where's the Beef lady or something.
What was the Alexander Keith beer guy that he went to jail?
Oh.
And there's other people that had like popular ad campaigns in Canada, or at least they didn't make a Jared movie.
Oh God, can you imagine?
You know what I'm saying? Like, they ended up picking the perfect character to turn from commercial actor into like real actor.
And as far as I know, Varney never had any scandals to follow him.
No, I mean the worst thing that happened was he was
a smoker.
He was a smoker. Yeah. Oh God.
That's the thing. These movies were so inventive.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? When you'd watch Home Improvement, when they would do like the man's kitchen or all the weird inventions. But that was what always drew me to him, like, versus I was a Ernest kid more so than I was a Pee-wee kid.
Yeah, same here. Like, I loved Pee-wee, but because I didn't have reliable access to CBS Saturday Morning, I would get the feeds on Global. It was easier to get access to Ernest movies because I could just rent them from the local video store.
I used and I used to like whenever they would show an Ernest movie on TV, my dad would tape it on beta cassette for me to watch, and that's why I owned them eventually. But like as kids, you know, or 80s or 90s kids, 90% of your movies were whatever was on TV that you could tape. And when it came to Pee-wee, a lot of kids I knew weren't allowed to watch it because it encouraged screaming.
Oh yeah, where he's like, "What's the word of the day?" and all that.
Yeah,
shit.
they found it to be encouraging screaming, which is bad. Which I remember laughing because my cousins also weren't allowed to watch like The Simpsons till they were 12 or 13 because that's an adult show.
Now, to comment on this, this would be one of the most unimaginable, horrifying ways to die.
Oh,
And also,
good lord! In a truck compactor.
I also love how this is like a subtle Star Wars ref.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, just this is a pretty perilous situation, and I think it happens every so often that something happens to like a garbage person, which is obviously very terrible.
well I mean, if you look at all of his movies, there's always something wacky with the last one with Goes to Jail, when he gets magnetized and all the cabinets want to destroy him. It's one of the only kids movies I could think of where the main protagonist, the good guy, gets electrocuted to death in a chair and then comes back with magical electricity powers.
He was a
And
mutant.
in this one, exactly. And in this one, I always love the dog too.
Oh yes, Rimshot. Which I don't. Did he have Rimshot in Ernest Saves Christmas or Goes to Jail? I think he did. He had a dog.
For sure goes to jail. And Goes to Jail, Nash throws him in the garbage. Oh god, electricity. And Goes to Jail, he gets home after breaking out and finds Rimshot in the garbage and has the perfect line. Who would throw at a perfectly good dog?
Now here's a question for you. Does the good-looking kid here, does he not remind you of the kid from the Monster Squad in a weird way?
A little bit.
I was actually starting to wonder, like, is that him? But it couldn't have been. I don't think he did much after Monster Squad.
This is 91, and Monster Squad was what, 87?
87, I think. 87, 88, maybe.
Oh, good lord. It's always great that the dog is smarter than him, too. But yeah, compared to some of the later films, this still had a good film look. This was shot well.
Yeah,
they clearly still had a budget to it.
One of the things I appreciate about the theatrical Ernest movies is they kept the same director, so it had the same feel. They always had the same vibe.
He directed every single one because he owned the character.
Oh,
yeah, like he created the character for that ad campaign and owned it. So this wasn't Jim Varney didn't own the character.
I didn't think he did, but I wasn't sure whether they changed directors or producers. I know they changed companies when they did Ernest Rides Again, and that was an independent company.
Yeah, they lost. Well, they had their 4-picture deal. This one didn't get renewed, I guess, because it didn't do as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then he moved production from the States to Vancouver, and I think all the rest of the films were filmed there or co-productions with like South Africa. So that's why they went to being more direct-to-video budget. Even though I think Rides Again was released theatrically, but it only made like $1 million versus like the 20 or 30 that this made. I'm reasonably sure that Saves Christmas was a pretty big success. If I'm siding with the father as an adult. Don't go into the garbage truck with the creepy weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, this man obviously has processing issues, I'll say, but he's very gentle and very kind.
There's nobody more well-meaning in any movie I've ever seen ever.
I mean, one of the things about the Ernest movies that I think is missing from a lot of modern movies is you make fun of him, but you're laughing. He knows enough to laugh at himself. He's well-meaning. He's very wholesome, despite the fact he gets into some pretty bad situations.
He's also the whole thing that they did on Tropic Thunder, where they're like, you never go full R. He's not. He's always intelligent and just he's a unique, different character, and he's never shown to laugh at or pity or anything like that. He is truly a good guy, and they always portray him as that. Other people might be, mean spirited towards him, and he brushes it off.
Yeah, because Ernest rarely has a mean word to say about anybody, or if he does, the worst he'll say is you're a big meanie or a jerk or something.
Yeah, I mean, and again, in the last film, he has to fight the evil version of himself. Oof, nightmare time.
Eartha Kitt.
Oh, Alex is going to have nightmares tonight.
She was one of my favorite Catwomen. I loved Julie Newmar, but I love the way Eartha Kitt could roll her R's.
Yeah, and it was weird. Like, as a kid, I always got confused. I know, was it Lee Merriweather did the movie, and then it was Eartha Kitt and Julie Newmar that shared the TV show, depending on the season.
Mm-hmm.
But like they used to air those episodes all out of order when they did reruns. So you might see Catwoman one week being one actress, and then Catwoman being another actress another week, even though in the original run it was a year apart. And I believe the new they're going in a similar direction with the new Batman movie when they cast Catwoman. They went with another African American actress.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I gotta say, the new Batwoman for season 2, there's one that they've done 2 press shots of her. She looks fucking cool with like her hair sticking out of the back of the mask.
Well, it's the design actually looks more like the last one looked, I don't know, fake, phony with the wig and everything.
Yeah, it looked accurate to the comics to a certain extent, but it looked off in reality. Yeah. Whereas this one has a more organic feel. Now, this is something I always felt I missed out in childhood was the building of a tree fort or a fort. Now, that being said, my neighbors, their dad was on council for my small town, and they had this really awesome tree fort that was literally up in a tree fort, and they had serious money. His dad was like a construction person too. So they built it. Fuck you, Pugsley Adams.
If I had a malt like that, I'd be angry too.
He's very mad.
No, am I the only one that really hopes? I know it's not going to happen. That when this kid goes to see Ernest here, that and he complains about it, that Ernest goes, "Oh, all you have to do is stand up to him and just
stab him in the eyes."
and tell him that you really don't appreciate that and you worked really hard on that and that's very mean." And then hand him the friggin' crowbar and say, and then go bash his head in. If you cave his skull in, and I'll put him in the trash compactor.
They'll never find the pun, kid. Don't worry, I'm the best person to know.
You find out this is a 4-movie con, and oh my god, all these different characters. And over the course of the 4 movies, you find out that Ernest is actually the Zodiac killer. That's why they never found him. They never found him because he died in 2000, and they never found the bodies because Ernest was going around helping all these kids in these towns and murdering all these people that were just mean to him. You turn the other cheek and then bash their head in.
Which this was one of my favorite scenes growing up, was just Ernest rapid cycling through these characters. Fucking Julius Caesar. Why? And then Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan, Elmer Fudd. Or just anybody we know from the Ozarks.
There's no trees in Botswana. Jesus Christ. Like I said, how much do you want to bet?
Oh, wait.
He pitched this idea.
He's not Genghis Khan. He said he was part of the Ottoman Empire, so he's Turkish.
So he's like a Germanic barbarian?
No, he's like in Kingdom of Heaven, the Arabic kingdom, like the old Ottoman Empire from like the Crusades. Oh. So the Muslims when they were fighting the Christians for the Holy Land. That's a deep cut they put in here.
It was led by Ernest.
It's like, oh, I was reading a book on the Crusades and I want to play a Turkish thing. It's like, okay.
Yeah, well, Jim Varney always came across to me as the poor man's Robin Williams, but just as good. I can imagine where he just said, okay, guys, I've got this idea for a scene. And John Cherry's like, fuck, I love it. Let's do it.
You know what? Next year for Halloween, I should just get that outfit and go as Fat Ernest.
I've seen one guy do a really good Ernest costume in college.
It's jeans, a gray T-shirt. Oh God, he just got crapped up
And-
right on his eyes.
That's a staph infection.
Oh, no wonder he's the Zodiac killer.
He's got listeria or staph.
Yeah, it's like, what happened? The world's out to get me, and I'm going to make it right. But it's a gray T-shirt, jeans, and a sweater vest, or a jean vest, and then a really stupid looking cap. I could totally do that entire costume for $40.
But so yeah, that's easily under $100, and somebody's gonna get it. Oh, but you have to carry around a small stuffed dog.
Oh, I would totally do that. I would even have I don't know, like you put a magnet behind a few magnets behind the shirt and make it so that people can throw paper clips at you and it sticks to you like an Ernest Goes to Jail.
Also, don't go into the fucking Pet Cemetery looking place, or this is where Swamp Thing hangs out.
You know what? If Rimshot's okay with it, he looks okay, then it's probably safe.
But it's like, I guess he's a pretty good barometer for danger because he would be the smarter of the two.
He's smarter than the kids, too. The best part of Ernest movies are when they would go to his house and he had the elaborate, like, contraptions.
Rube Goldberg machine or whatever it is.
Yeah, and it always reminded me of Back to the Future 3, when Doc is back in time and he makes the giant machine just to make him ice cubes. he makes a refrigerator in the 1880s. It's literally because he wants to have iced tea or iced coffee.
Now, let me ask you this. How long or how much engineering do you think went into this? Like, literally, Ernest pulls like this amazing idiot savant engineering feat out of his ass and creates this essential tree fortress of death. Like, there are mechanical weapons built in. There's platforms. That thing is not a rickshaw job.
Again, it goes back into the whole Ernest himself, while a lot of the adults around him might see him as simple or something or off. Ultimately, once you get to know him, you realize he is brilliant.
Yeah, he's super skilled.
He is like, oh, that's a creepy looking ghost. Not just a skilled laborer. He's a very inventive person. He just thinks outside the box. More nightmares happening now.
Eartha Kitt going to get you.
Eartha Kitt dressed up like Becky Lynch from 3 years ago.
I miss that look. See, look what I mean. That is not something you can just throw together in 10 minutes. That is literally someone. He's got a fucking drone. This is Watch Dogs Ernest.
Shh. I would. Oh my God, that is a character they should license for that game.
Ernest.
Walk into town and see the garbage man and recruit him, and it just goes, know what I mean? And be like, oh my God, Ernest and the Golden Girls save the city of London.
Oh my God. So, quick side note, before I review Watch Dogs like tomorrow here on the site, I saw an old lady deliver a legitimate RKO to somebody in Watch Dogs, bent him over the shoulder and gave an RKO. I'm like, oh my God.
I've seen some people's reviews where they have glitches and they show them like characters running, NPCs, and then they hit like a brick wall and then do a forward flip over the wall, land on their back, and they're just like, ow. She's like the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons. Throws a cat.
Please.
So I looked. Ernest Goes to Camp only cost $3 million and made 23.
Wow, that's super successful.
Ernest Saves Christmas, $6 million, made 28. Goes to Jail, cost 9, made 25. Scared Stupid cost 9.5, made 14. And then Rides Again costs $5.5 million, made 1.5.
Ouch.
So they just didn't have that distribution deal. Plus, the budget looked looked rough. And all the releases, I believe, are full screen, even though it was filmed in widescreen, whereas the rest were all full screen after that.
Okay, look at this kid.
Oh,
Who the hell dresses this asshole? The kid in the green?
50% of the kids I went to school with in Barrie.
Okay, look at this. He has a turret. That is not a simple thing to make.
With cat food on it?
Yeah. I also love...
it ejects the shell.
Now
he fires like a street sweeper shotgun blast, and it empties the shells like Rambo.
Now, I found out about this, and I don't know how true this is. You know, when they threw that, like, pizza at him, by the way, that's an NES joystick they're using.
Oh, there's two of them. I can totally see that.
Those pizzas that are being thrown are prop pizzas from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, allegedly.
Cool.
From what I've heard.
I could totally see that reusing stuff.
I mean, yeah, if you've got the prop pizza, why not?
The chubbier kid, the mean one.
Yeah.
He looks like he's wearing clothes that like Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys would have worn as a kid. If this movie had been made in 1995 instead of 1991, they would have been tearaway button-up pants.
That's so cool, though.
I had a friend who had a treehouse like that when I lived in one house for a while. It was kind of fun. I'm not a fan of heights, but they built stairs, not a ladder, like full-on staircase to go up into it. It was pretty sweet.
This kid, the kids that lived next to me, I think they were called the Timmermans. It had like a ladder. This thing was like 30 feet up in the air, but it was solid.
The only fort I ever built was we took wood and stuff, and we built one in Victoria Park in Kitchener before a lot of the stuff was chopped down for extra land. And we had built it pretty deep in there, and it lasted a whole summer. And how we claimed ownership of it was out of my school, like 30 of us would take turns going there every single day so that nobody would tear it down. And also, it was at a time when there weren't as many homeless people here, so we didn't have to kick out any bums or we didn't find like any drugs or anything in there because nobody went there. I don't think we could do it nowadays. You know?
Oh God, no.
25 years later, it wouldn't be able to do that.
I mean, in a weird way, this movie is a unique slice of history because this is what a lot of my childhood was like, where you'd go out, you would build forts, you'd hang outside with your friends. Now it's a lot of go home, play on your phone, go on video games, you know.
We did a lot of that. My parents would kick me out. I was like, I want to play games. They'd be like, you're not coming back till it's dark. Okay. And like at a time when they're like, just ride your bike. I'm like, where? Like, as long as you can find your way home, we don't care where you go. So you'd ride like 2 or 3 kilometers away, and we'd go try to catch crayfish in the creek, and then you'd catch the crayfish, and then you do standard bullshit things like try to burn them with magnifying glasses or whatever kids would do. Like, hey, let's burn an anthill with a magnifying glass. Let's see if we can find a bunch of worms, dig them up, and then put the worms out on top of the ground and see if the crayfish would slice them into pieces.
Oh God. I remember catching fish and crayfish and all that stuff. We had a fort built in my friend's backyard. He had like an acre or 2 of woods there, and there was this tiny natural cave. Okay, so cool thing about this like troll thing. So this is done by the Chikaido brothers, the same guys who did Killer Clowns from Outer Space. When you see the trolls later on, a lot of those are repainted masks.
That troll suffers from gingivitis and halitosis. That ain't good breath coming off of him.
Oh God, no. But it was such a good effect though. Like this was a legitimately terrifying effect.
Yeah.
Like this is
I was not afraid of them. I was afraid of Eartha Kitt though. That being said, it's much better effects than like half of the movies that were meant for adults of that era.
Well, yeah, because those guys were special effects wizards and they loved what they were doing. And the fact that it was all practical means they had to work with what they had. They had to make it look good in camera. And I think that's the hallmark of a really good horror movie is the effect looks good in camera because that's what your eye's going to see. You don't have to react against a friggin' tennis ball or something stupid.
Well, and the fact that they did a remaster on this for 1080p for streaming as well as Blu-ray, and it doesn't show a lot of the seams that you usually see in these low-budget films. They knew how to handle lighting here. It's well lit, but at the same time giving enough shadows and creepiness. Yeah, falling into a creek or muddy thing in the darkness would be kind of scary as a kid. Uh-oh.
Kid's got one serious overbite. I also thought that was a great effect too, and a great idea for him to turn them into wooden statues. Like the little dogs chasing him.
Kind of looks like if you injected a ton of growth hormone into Ed Asner. Luckily, I was there to beat it within an inch of its face. He kicked over some stuff and it ran away. You know what? Ernest always felt like an amalgamation of like a less annoying Pee Wee Herman, a less annoying Ed Grimsby, you know, the character that Martin Short did.
Yeah.
Like a bit of them, but with a little bit of the charm of like the stupid silliness of a Super Dave Osborne, with the way the pranks were and the way he would do the physical stunts,
Mm-hmm.
and then churn that with a little bit of Weird Al thrown in,
with a little bit of the slapsticky humor of the Three Stooges.
Yeah, so it was sort of that sweet spot for that period from like 86 to like 96. He was probably one of the most popular kids performers.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was actually kind of thinking about this today in preparation for this, there's no movies like this now. Like, there is nothing genuinely like kids fantasy. I mean, maybe
This
Percy Jackson
nightmarish.
and the Olympians, maybe, but it's not fun family horror comedy, which is what this is.
Or if there is, it's more in the realm of the later Ernest films where they're really, really obnoxious and hokey. A lot of the Nickelodeon kids stuff and a lot of the Disney stuff is obnoxious with like laugh tracks, or like when kids really exaggerate their acting, it usually comes across as cringy. Ernest was never cringy.
No,
He borders on some of it. It was always fun and believable, and the tone of it works. There isn't, like you said, a whole lot like this, because I don't know if the market's there anymore for it.
you know, somebody had posted this, and I've seen this like 1,000 times in the years since. There's a very famous meme, and it's like, you ever notice how John Cena is slowly turning into Ernest P. Worrell?
Oh, if he were to lay off the gas, he could 100% play him in a biopic.
I would be down for that.
And he can do the silly stuff. We saw, like, he did that stupid movie with, what was it, the firefighter movie with the kids?
Playing with fire. And I really enjoyed that. That was really good.
That's the closest to this tone, only it's a little bit more of the cringiness than I would have liked when I tried watching it. And it's not like, I'm not like looking at this through like rose-colored or rose-tinted glasses. This is a better film than that.
Yes, it's different.
I think, yeah, what you need is that John Cherry, the director, while he was a commercial director and he didn't really do much else except a couple direct-to-video things after the Ernest movies ended, you need somebody like that has a vision, like an auteur that has a specific look and feel they want to make, and then let them continue making it.
Like, I can't think of any enduring legacy comedy characters that endure to this day. I mean, they tried with Dumb and Dumber and Dumberer.
Pee-wee came back.
Pee-wee, and that was okay, but it's not Ernest. There's something very sincere about the performance. Whereas Pee-wee seems like he's moving from situation to situation.
Yeah, the closest example that I think if they came back they would get a lot of the love would be if they did more Bob and Doug McKenzie things now that Rick Moranis is out of retirement. I could see them doing something, but that's again more for the adults. As far as child performers or performers for kids, yeah, there's not a whole ton.
I mean, there was that Fred the movie, but that guy's aged out.
Burn in a fire. That voice was so annoying.
Oh God, I don't see how that endured for as long as it did.
Stupid people.
And
way to put it.
Even on the Disney Channel, I don't know whether there's anything enduring. I mean, some of their direct to video stuff has been okay.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf went downhill. So many of the Disney stars go downhill
because something happens.
Zac Efron's okay though.
Oh, Zac Efron's a funny guy. He can hold a comedy movie.
He's probably one of the ones that's and also do drama. You saw that serial killer one he did.
Yeah,
like he's somebody who made it, and that's pretty much it. But like, if you're talking like performer from these famous kind of movies, there's not a ton that really.
I love these guys. Oh my God, these are my favorite parts of Ernest Goes to Camp.
Well, this is a different actor playing the main guy though.
Is he?
Yeah. The first 3 movies are the same guy, but Bobby is always the same guy. Yeah, this is a completely different actor. Let me look it up here quickly. But the guy that plays Bobby, I always loved that Bobby was supposed to be like the younger brother, yet he's old. and again, goes to jail when he plays the security guard.
Mm-hmm.
He barely ever talks, right? But he pulls out a gun and does a whole like spaghetti western standoff.
So good. He's dead.
So this actor is John. What does it say? Cadenhead plays Tom Tulip, and Bobby is played by Bill Bierge.
He must have passed away by now.
No, he's 88.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he
troll spray.
Oh, that's great. You know what? This guy playing Tom there, the other brother,
mm-hmm.
he reminds me of Archie Bunker, like
yes.
Carol O'Connor. Yeah, so the guy that played Bobby was in the first movie, Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, which I tried watching. It's not good. Ernest Saves Christmas, Hey Vern, It's Ernest, Ernest Goes to Jail, Ernest Scared Stupid, and Ernest Goes to School as Bobby. And
this is such a great throwaway bit. I'd like to know what the prop department did with some of this stuff. Now, I did do a little bit of research. The main troll's head of Trainor, whatever the fuck his name is, that John Cherry kept that and then gave it to his son.
Oh, that's neat.
That's how the legend supposedly goes.
It looks like they set up this forest outside of a mall because you can see it in the background.
Either that or it's on some backlot somewhere.
The actor that played the other brother in the other Ernest movies, his name is Gaillard, Gaillard, Sartain. He is still alive. He's born in 1946. He played Chuck in. He played it in the TV show The Hey Vern, It's Ernest. Oh God,
that's the RoboCop sound.
Yep. He also played that same character in Ernest Saves Christmas. Ernest Goes to Jail,
and he does that fucking eye thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks like Bobby was in the most of the movies. You
ever notice how kids don't have that slang anymore? That's so and so's house now, like the old lady, or like in Monster Squad, scary German guy.
You have to be able to go outside to play to do that.
That's
Or
true.
want to.
Fuck you, Tony Hawk.
How great would it be if, after watching this, after like 20 years, we find somebody who became famous later on?
Wouldn't that? Yeah, like that's why I was kind of hoping we'd see something in here that we'd like kind of recognize.
That used to happen a lot in Canadian productions, like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, or whenever they filmed X-Files here.
Yep.
When you had like Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds and people like that showing up when they were kids. I love the kid's shirt with the cats on it.
And she must have had so much fun just to ham this up like a Batman villain again after being out in the cold for so long. Like, hey, Eartha, can you be like a crazier cat lady? Yes. Yes, I can.
With Martin Scorsese eyebrows. Okay, nightmares.
That's great. The baby is bait.
Generally, it should be a last resort.
Most of the time. But hey, it's 2020. It's the first resort.
Halloween special troll vacancy. He's giving him a free dumpster.
He is. You know what's fucked up? I'm looking at this dumpster and I'm thinking, what terrible thing could I do to fucking kill this troll? And I'm thinking, you lace the thing with claymores.
Kids for free.
Ayla's coming to say hi.
That's nice.
Go bug mommy, okay? Go bug.
So he drives a garbage truck that looks like Optimus Prime if he had been rusted out for 100 years. Also, isn't that truck bigger than like any garbage truck you've ever seen?
It's an old one, that's for sure.
It looks like one that you'd use just for job sites.
The skateboard. You know what would have been great if that kid had been holding the kind of skateboard?
Ugh. Don't they look tasty?
They do. They look like Brussels sprouts.
Or like fruit you'd find in like Hercules or Xena. Was it ambrosia they ate that gave them god powers?
Mm-hmm. And you know what? It's kind of a special thing in a way that this movie has a unique, almost timeless quality about it. You could never remake this and have it have the same impact.
The only way to do it would be to not film on digital, because if you filmed it on actual film, you could give it a similar look. You just have to light it the right way. And you could do this movie for less than $10 million now because of how cheap digital editing is.
But I think the thing is, you need the right cast to lead it.
These guys remind me of, was it the wrestling team? The Nasty Boys.
You know what? That kid is in superior shape. Just kick him in the nuts and call it a day.
And the mom drives up and is like, you shouldn't be horsing around. It's like, in real life, if one of our parents had found some kids beating you up on your own property,
Lawsuit.
they would have just forgotten to put on the brakes and hit them with the car as they rolled in.
What happened? Oops. Who's laughing now?
And those
We're
cars
so
were heavy.
violent.
Those cars were heavier too. What is that poster with the unicorn on it?
Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Okay.
I can't see something with cats or dogs or something. I'm
What
actually
is this
looking
little-
around here, a room for toys.
Wait, first of all, little girl has a room that looks like it should be inhabited by like an old lady.
You know what she
Secondly-
looks like? A Polly Pocket doll.
Secondly, she has a bathroom. What kids had a bathroom right off their bedroom?
I knew one kid growing up, but that kid had money.
New Kids on the Block poster.
Fuck yeah. So there's a little bit of product placement, even if you can't see
But
it.
are they Dalmatians though? I think.
I think so. Come on, this is America. You should be armed to the teeth.
Yeah, they hadn't moved to filming in Canada yet. I don't know. Creepy bunnies. Phone
Yo.
in the room makes sense.
I actually had that foam, but in gray. Such a good moment here, too. Just how this is just kind of played all quiet and everything.
Yeah. Not half bad.
And then Scream-O-Vision.
Ew. Oh, I remember a scene from this, I think. Doesn't he stick his fingers in his nose one time?
I think so.
I know he does that in Ernest.
Look at
Goes
the
to
tent! The tent's
Yeah,
got their
for the-
fucking faces on it.
for the dog. And I know in and he's a Boy Scout. That's an old Cub Scouts or what was it?
Brownies or whatever.
That's girls. I think. What was the boy one?
Brownies,
Cubs,
Cub Scouts,
Beaver Scouts.
Beaver Scouts, yeah.
Oh boy, I remember in Ernest Goes to Africa, he sticks his fingers in the nose of an alligator, and I laughed my head off at how stupid it was. Oh, good lord, this can't be good. It shot him up into the air instead of slicing him in half. Oh, look, it's that bicycle that you could pedal backwards to put the brakes on.
My bike did that, and I only wiped out twice.
Is it me or was Bobby like 100 years old forever?
Yeah, like that man has never aged.
He really does have it's like this main character here. He looks a lot like a mixture of Carol O'Connor, like Archie, and what's his name? Jackie Gleason when he was doing the Smokey and the Bandit movies.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always fun.
I miss those Hostess fruit pies. Oh my god, I miss those.
Yeah, they're not available in Canada. Coke sponsored this for sure.
And Bud Light.
Bud Light, $3.99 for a 6-pack. That's healthy.
7-Up, Diet Coke. Chex Mix.
The old Diet Coke logo when they still used red for it.
They've even got the Bobby logo right there too.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yes,
2 barrels. Checks. What else was there?
oh, there's a racially insensitive costume.
Oh, for a second I thought you were there, Mike. No.
He's a little more pale than I am.
A little bit.
Thanks, Paleface. Yes, I'm in the sewer pipe. We all float down here.
Oh, the times when you could just dress up as whatever you wanted.
I don't recall any kids dressing up as anything like that when I was younger.
Oh, good Lord. No, the worst. Yeah, you never really saw that.
I saw a lot of pirates, princesses, and those really shitty bag costumes with the really shitty mask. You know it's ones I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the really garbage ones.
Yeah, I didn't see anything elaborate for Halloween till I hit high school.
I used to make all my own though with my mom, so we would make them from whatever thrift store finds.
The coolest one I ever had was a Friday the 13th Jason Part 6. I even had throwing knives on my belt.
Look at the Bumblebee.
I thought Bumblebee was Scorpion from Mortal Kombat for just half a second.
No, he looks like Randy from Trailer Park Boys. And that guy's dressed up as a sheriff. Look at the plastic badge. What is the one on the right supposed to be? Mother Nature?
I never even thought of it like that. Maybe. Surprise, motherfucker. He could teleport now. I've never seen a milk truck in my entire life.
I have deliveries to stores, though. But that's basically it. And it's not usually just milk.
It's going to be such a weird Halloween this year for kids, which really sucks, too.
Well, I went out today, picked up 3 or 4 bags of different things from the store, like just the cheap dollar store. I'm making up little baggies for the kids in the building. Gonna give it to the super and be like, you hand them out. And then whatever's left over is left over.
Yeah, we are sending stuff to our neighbors' kids. We're going to give them some of my calorie-controlled stuff, which is good for me and good for them.
Yeah, and I feel like part of me is like, I wouldn't even bother, but I feel bad for the kids that, they're going to miss out on this one and maybe next year. Too.
Yeah, like it's going to be a rough couple years. We are living in interesting times, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, so I figure, may as well, if I'm going to make up, instead of giving out like a little bit to each kid, you make up a baggie, fill it with some stuff, because if they're not going to be able to go very many places, at least within the building, they can get some.
Now, back to that previous scene when he has that dumpster. Yeah. Does that not look like a giant Tim Hortons roll up the rib cup?
Yeah. Mixed with a Value Village donation bin. Is Ernest P. Worrell perpetually sweaty? See, they're mean to him.
Dunkin' Donuts sponsored this. And they have not changed their logo or branding in like 30 years plus.
What I want to see is who's on the wanted poster, because they made that up to be somebody that they knew.
Or it's the Zodiac Killer or something.
Like it would be somebody like, how funny would it be if it was Nash from...
that would be a really clever deep cut. Can you imagine if Ernest has flat out murdered somebody right here? Also, I don't know whether that's police protocol to just draw your weapon before you know what it is.
Have you seen what's been happening the last long time in the States?
Yes, true.
Oh, good Lord. They would lock him up for kidnapping those children and putting them in a trash compactor nowadays.
I hope you... That's amazing.
What if the cop was just like, there they are! Blah, blah, blah!
Oh, it's terrible. But hey, maybe they got dirty diapers on them, so maybe it all worked out in the end.
And if you look, it's not just, I guess, fish and birds that get their heads caught in those plastic rings. Dumb thing too.
Yeah. How did you get your head caught in there? It's like too small for your head. I'm very special.
This is definitely a more straightforward movie than the last ones have been, with less sets. but it still looks really good for the budget.
Yeah, like, it feels like a movie, and this has often been compared to Hocus Pocus, which came out a couple of years later. I like this
And
more than Hocus
well,
Pocus.
Hocus Pocus was way higher budget too.
Oh God, yeah, because that had Disney money. This also had Disney money, but this, again, as we discussed earlier, this had a vision, had a theme.
The first 4 films cost less than $40 million to make. So,
you know what might work if you ever wanted to bring the Ernest character back, but you'd have to find someone who could do a spot-on impression.
Well, Hocus Pocus, this will cost $28 million, more money than the first 3 films of Ernest. So, they had that going for them. Isn't Hocus Pocus getting a sequel now officially?
Yes, allegedly. That's what I've heard. But I just had this thought just now, and I think it's good. I don't know if Jim Varney's estate would be okay with it, but if John Cherry and the estate of Jim Varney came to some kind of an agreement, I love this. If they did an Ernest animated series on Netflix or something,
and had somebody voice him.
Yeah, that could be really clever.
I thought that they were trying to get that going at one point, and he was trying to get one going with Ernest's nephew, sort of the Home Alone situation where they cast like a cousin or somebody.
I'd be okay with that if it was done well. It has to be really well written, because Ernest relies a lot on sincerity and comedy, and that's a unique combination that I don't think you have now. It relies a lot on abusive humor. If
they got Disney back for it, and that's actually a pretty good effect, how clear that was, where it's like the ooze going from one hole to another.
Mm-hmm.
If they got Disney back on board for Disney Plus, or if they wanted to put it on like Paramount Plus, a good streaming show for kids would work with this. That's creepy.
Like I said, if you get the right special effects team, you can make a kids movie legitimately interesting and scary.
And they even did a good job of making Rimshot look scared.
Mm-hmm. Like that dog even puts on a really good, performance for like a dog. Now, there's a rumor about this scene, so I don't know how true it is. When he knocks the troll off of the back of the truck, supposedly that's the inspiration for the online troll face. And I'll show you the frame when it pops up.
Online troll face?
Yeah. Wait when it shows up. You're like, where it's that really, really distorted smile?
Oh, the Migusta face?
Yeah. Supposedly it's from this scene.
Oh. I didn't have 4 fathers, I only had 1 father.
Another little detail I just kind of noticed about the dogs driving.
Well, because of course, he's like the Wily of his world.
He is. Wiley's tried to drive my wheelchair more than once.
He's a smart boy.
He's a very smart kitty. Can you imagine?
Hedge clip keto.
Kicks his ass with his own nunchucks.
I
Troll containment unit.
I would have loved a turtle.
Right there. Watch it. Wait for it. And the troll face is coming. That's clever.
Yeah.
Like this is such a clever scene.
So you said the face is coming?
Yeah, it's coming. Right there.
I get it, maybe.
Yep, that's allegedly the source of it. He just GTA'd that motherfucker.
I also like how Rimshot knows how to change gears.
He's a smart fucking dog. Is Rimshot Wishbone? Because the timing would line up.
Or what about the dog from Frasier?
I don't know if that's Eddie. Maybe? The troll's got a breath weapon. Dead.
It really is like the mixture of Carol O'Connor and Jackie Gleason. It's weird. Knock knock.
Oh, this is such a clever scene too. I like this. Giant can opener. I want to know where that prop ended up.
Maybe Andre the Giant's house.
Or Carrot Top.
Oh yeah, the milk.
Yeah. So before the show this evening, I'm on this modified part of my diet right now where I'm allowed to have a little more solid food, but I still have to maintain super high protein. And my wife got me unsweetened soy and cashew milk. That's what I imagined Miak tastes like. It was very disturbing. Not gross, but disturbing. So I know something that can now kill trolls, and you can get it in the dairy aisle of Walmart. Also, welcome to all costumes that exist in the public domain.
Welcome to every haircut that a boy had from 1990 to 1995 before the Caesar came in.
You could argue a ninja turtle.
It's a ninja turtle.
The off-brand version.
And everybody in the background looks like they're ready to go to an Eyes Wide Shut party.
There's going to be a whole lot of weird fucking going on. Get fucked with a pumpkin. Go to hell for that one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The Fun Bunch.
Oh boy. If you hang your hat trying to get a record deal as the Fun Bunch, just call it a day right there.
That's not something you usually hear from a mom.
It's true. You know what? I will share something really unpleasant right now. It's something my class did in the 5th grade. Our French teacher, had dressed up for Halloween as the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay. She must have been a year or two out of like teachers college. She was young. And my class had put her through such hell that the teacher broke down and cried and took off her makeup that she put on for the day. Yeah, and I've never forgotten that day. If I could remember her name, I would sincerely apologize to her if I could find her today. I would apologize on
It's-
behalf of my class.
It's unfortunate that there are some groups of kids that would do that. It's been like that since the dawn of time, unfortunately. Usually it's reserved for supply teachers, but
Yeah, this teacher was like our regular French teacher for like half a year, if not more.
You know what it might have been? As soon as they sensed weakness that she wasn't assertive enough.
That's exactly what it was. Exactly.
Whereas if you notice a lot of the French teachers were the toughest teachers in school, and they would take no BS. And as long as you earned their respect, they'd be nice to you. But yeah, it's anytime that kids would sense weakness, they would harp on it.
Now, because this is coming out on Thursday, the 29th of October, my wife is going to school tomorrow as a supply teacher, and she's dressing up as Wonder Woman because I got her all the Hot Topic clothes for Wonder Woman 1984.
Cool.
Yeah, she looks great. Actually, we got stopped in Walmart tonight. Some woman tapped her on the shoulder, is like, "Your jacket is so cool."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, so I guess they're not doing it on a Friday?
No, because that's a professional development day.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, that should be, at least have fun while she's doing it.
I don't think the kids are allowed to dress up, but the teachers can.
Well, it's easier that way to maintain things.
Jim Varney's got some guns on him.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, John. I want to see John Cena, the Jim Varney biopic. Ernest manages to defeat him before the advent of Amazon and eBay.
If you look, other than his last few films being like Toy Story and Atlantis doing voice acting, if you remember, Jim Varney was in a Three Ninjas movie, Three Ninjas, the one with Hulk Hogan.
I've never seen that one.
We should have. Well, that should be one we have to watch. But other than that, most people probably know him from being in the Beverly Hillbillies remake movie,
which I saw that in theaters too.
So did old. I would have been about 6 or 7, and I remember that I believe was the biggest film, one of the biggest films of that summer.
I remember taking a girl to go see it. She didn't get it, but I did because I watched a lot of those.
22% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I remember liking it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
It was better than the Little Rascals movie.
This, such a heartbreak.
Oh, good Lord. He'll get him back.
But say, now it's on, motherfucker. You fucked with my dog. Just like I would go on a John Wick rampage if something ever happened to Wiley.
How funny would it be if he got up right now and he's like, what do I do with him? And he just puts him in his pocket.
Did you hear that?
Somebody with a runny nose is going to die.
Please put that in the episode description.
We may be able to get the clip of that and put it at the beginning.
Somebody with a runny nose is going to die. They're all really fucked now.
Because when you go to a dance or a party, what you want to buy is milk.
And jumbo pretzels. What an odd party for them to throw.
And pretzels are mostly like a North thing, right? Like, I know they're big here.
I never had one of those soft pretzels till I went to a hockey game. Okay, there's a licensed character. I dream of Jeannie in the background. Again, what's with all the native costumes, for Christ's sake? Oh, and there's
Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, so there's 2 licensed characters. Though arguably, I Dream of Jeannie wouldn't be in the public domain.
There's a guy dressed as a sheik like I did in high school.
Yeah. And Eartha Kitt.
Dressed as
Eartha Kitt. Can you imagine if she just walked on set like this every day? She's like, we're ready to take you to costuming.
They're like, you've already been to makeup. She's like, what?
Yeah, this is how I always dress. Okay.
She's riding a boy's bicycle. That's progressive.
That is for 1991. They swim better. Splinter. You're public domain. You're Dracula. Grenades of milk cartons.
The one kid's dressed as the exact skeleton from Karate Kid.
Or Fortnite.
So the eggs look like those Gushers. Remember that candy?
That would have been a great film tie-in. Actually, that would have been a fantastic food promo for this to come out during the fall.
Gushers came out in 91 though.
I think they were 90 or 92, somewhere in that range. But I remember having to go to the States to find them.
Just like when Ernest Slam Dunk Ernest came out.
Yeah.
How great would it have been to have paired it with Dunkaroos?
Yeah.
Do you call him a squish kebab?
You fucked with my dog. Now I'm going to kill you. Reoccurring theme. Ernest goes John Wick.
His costume is basically Mankind McFoley's costume for wrestling gear. At least the continuity's there. The door's still off his car.
But say, yeah, I was just actually like noticing that for the first time. Like, again, for a children's movie, this is remarkably competent. Because they could have cheaped out on it so easily and said, okay, well, we're just going to use the same truck, which means they filmed this relatively. They're like, okay, the truck is missing X. It has to have these things. Looking at the roof, I think, okay, the roof is not as damaged as it should be, but whatever. You can't win everything. Now, these trolls that grow are repainted killer clowns from Outer Space masks.
Oh, okay. So they made the one costume and then, well, that's a good effect.
Yeah.
It's got like tentacles that come out like Cthulhu.
And even the little puffs of smoke and everything. Like, that's terrifying for a child.
Oh, what things will show you. They look like Cenobites.
Don't cry. Such a waste of good suffering.
And the Chatterer. That's the one that scared me the most.
That I thought was the greatest design. Even Butterball wasn't that bad of a look. When you read the stories behind some of the kind of Cenobites, they're unbelievably tragic.
I totally see the killer clowns now.
Yeah, you see it. There's one where it's like
they're actually scarier.
Clown. Yeah,
they're scarier than the original versions because of their design now, the color scheme. Is he gonna grab the shotgun?
Grab the ammo. Super Soaker 50s, baby.
50. That was the cheap one that you could find at every single corner store.
Yep.
If you wanted the 150, you got to go to Zeller's.
I always used to be able to tell them apart by their color. There was the green tank was the 50, the yellow tank was the 100, the 150 was the purple. And then there was the giant one you could put on your back, which was the 3000.
There was a 250.
Yep.
And and then there was the big one that you put on your back, but before that there was the original, the Super Soaker, and that one was a backpack one that had a flamethrower sized hose, and I used that one on people.
There was a friend of mine growing up. His name was John. He managed to modify a Super Soaker by using parts from Home Hardware. And he had it so the one that you could fit on your back could fire a 2-liter burst. So it had enough force.
Burst that big?
Yeah, it could knock you over.
So, mine was you pulled it and you pumped it, but it didn't hold the pressure that original version.
Mm-hmm.
You just pulled it and it fired wherever it was. And there were some mean kids that were bullies on my street. So my solution to the bullies was to use a solution of 75% water, 25% lemon juice. When that got in their eyes, they stopped bullying kids. I'll tell you that.
Everybody uses oh boy. The cartoon pretzel shotgun. Everybody uses double barrels in this.
Well, they're living in a smaller town, right?
Yeah.
Was it two? Look, the useless mom from every movie in the 90s.
I always think of that bit from, I think it's Freakazoid, and it's like, and now so-and-so as the hopping woman.
She was the useless mom that was made to look like the neighbor from Married
Leave
with
It to
Children.
Beaver or whatever. Oh, Marcy, yeah.
Chickenhead. Yapping the whole time. They look like Garbage Pail Kids, too.
I was just thinking that, actually. And that's a Graflex camera flash. That's a lightsaber.
You know who Bumblebee looks a little bit like?
Who?
Is his name? I forget his first name, but it's like Bowser or something. His last name. The guy that was Beast in the X-Men cartoon, as well as playing the big brother.
Hank something.
On the Sinbad TV show.
Yeah, that guy. George Bowser or whatever.
Or George or Eric Bowser or something. One of those two names. That's who he looks like. He was like a staple of like cartoons and Canadian TV shows. He should have got some awards for these movies. I wonder if that's sort of a play on him in real life. He must have been a clown back in when he was in school, back in the 50s and 60s.
Somebody must have said, you know what, Jim, you'll never make it in Hollywood, and he proved them all wrong.
Because he did like local theater stuff and then got commercials.
Yeah.
Ew, blow your nose, buddy. He drinks too much. I know what he looks like now. He looks exactly like if you mix Danny DeVito and with Danny DeVito's body with the exact 100% face of Nick Nolte recently. Had a little too much of the booze. See, that goes into the commercial sales.
I'm too young to die.
Don't kill me. Specifically the second one there with the pinhead top.
Yeah.
That I remember specifically from Killer Clowns. There's some ADR dubbing in there. There's a bunny.
Now my wife is dancing like a troll right now.
A little Benny Hill. That's clever. Smacking the back of his head to fire bullets.
I just realized they have jars of like sour cream.
Killed by taco supplies. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Psh, die. Friggin'. Maybe the Chihuahua was friends with Rimshot, and he's like, no bueno. Get him.
And now my wife is showing me chocolate milk.
There we go. Get him. See, Dad, we're not stupid. I would have preferred if they
and look at the guts.
Oh, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
yeah,
for a kid's movie.
Go get him. Get him. We've taken the... Oh, yeah, you don't really see a lot of kids' Uzis anymore.
Nope. Ever since that one kid got shot.
I was going to say you don't see them unless they're in school. Dark. Joke is dark. Sorry. That's a pretty decent effect for like a hand-drawn optical effect.
Mm-hmm. The one guy's got football tackled.
And he was dressed as a baby. This is almost like a trauma movie with all the costumes. Like when you see all the crazy bad guys in Toxic Avenger 2 and 3.
Little snub-nosed pistol.
And he even aimed and did the neck sort of crinking thing that Danny Glover does in Lethal Weapon.
That's a killer clown mask right there.
Yeah. Oh, there's an Ernest staple. Ew.
He's leveling up.
Class change, Troll King. She's like, fuck off. I love it. Everybody else is running in terror, and she's just like, fuck off. I got shit to do.
Look at that troll just avoids her.
So, because we were talking, did we miss her backstory?
I don't think they ever really explained it other than, that's funny.
Isn't she like an immortal witch or something? And when she was a kid, those kids were taken or something? Something
like that. She was like a medicine woman or something.
She's a little girl and her family was taken or something, and she lives out in the middle of nowhere because of it. She stopped them or temporarily stopped it back in the day. That's not bad, Malt. I've always loved his old lady's impressions. Yes. And goes to jail when he tries to escape jail by dressing as her and using the chains that he had chained to him as boobs. It's like, visitor section's on the other side. Well, I'm sorry, I made a mistake and I have to get out, blah, blah, blah. And then they fall to the ground and he's like, I'm told I'm getting them removed later.
Another pile of melted guts. See, that's so violent.
So Bobby was 59 here and looked like he was 100.
Yeah, I thought he might have been at least 70 or something because he looks old. Yep.
He's only 2 years older than my Oma. They were smart to get the kids toy guns that were really colorful. Because you remember back then, all they had to have in Canada was a red tip. And I think in the States, they didn't even have to have that.
Okay, that's clever. The powdered milk.
Yeah. But of course, it was Acme powdered milk, but the rest is a real brand, it looks like. How great would it have been if it was Malk, like in The Simpsons?
The drone. How forward thinking is this? I mean, in all actuality.
Oh, it's pretty sweet. Okay, this would have given me... Oh, well, that's a very John Carpenter's The Thing to do. This is pretty good effect. Short of the weird spirity looking things.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. Hey, he's got pickle nails. Well, If Eartha Kitt wasn't going to give you nightmares, this would, as a 5-year-old.
Oh yeah, and it's lit so well too.
Thank you, Blu-ray. I never realized that his necklace goes through the neck brace. Hey, it's a Ninja Turtle where it's like, it looks like they painted the suit on. Death from above.
Caveman, I guess, or
A
barbarian?
lot more native costumes.
Yeah, like, can you stop rating Spirit Halloween? Fuck off. Yay for mental illness.
And of
Or
course,
enthusiasm.
always a John Wayne little impression. Oh, I like that judge's costume made out
Yes.
of toilet paper rolls. That's pretty good. Yeah, we did it. Yeah. It's like that scene in Kick or Bloodsport when the friend thinks he's won and then he gets knocked out by Chong Li, and then he gets put in the hospital, and then Van Damme has to win. That's terrifying.
He's got fire powers now.
And still crazy tentacle swigglies. At least everybody believes him now.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. The look
That
of
is the best.
The look on the buddy's face is great.
Yeah. The best costume in the entire movie, though, has to be the judge now because it's made out of toilet paper rolls. Get him, Ernest.
He's taking your friends. He's taking your dog. Seek vengeance. Do you know how dark this movie would have got if he took the statue of Kenny and snapped it in half or something?
Yeah, or its head broke off as he threw it to the ground.
Then Ernest just pulls out like a 45 Magnum, is like, all right, motherfucker, time to dance. Oh my God, he should have done a Rambo costume instead of like the World War I pilot.
He just jumped on it. And then Mr. Leahy just ran away in the background there from the fire. It is just Nick Nolte. I like the creepy, non-symmetrical aspect of of that costume. It makes it look more chaotic and creepy. Oof. All this fire.
Oh my God, so violent. Love wins everything, man.
Unconditional love, right?
This is such a great way to end a kid's movie, and it's such a great like message too.
I'd be like, I love this milk so much, and then throw it at him. Listen to Bobby, get him.
I love it. Just look at that transformation, right? Like,
that doofy look on his face.
yes. He's so confused.
Oh, good Lord.
Everybody's so confused. I mean, like, ultimately, like, wouldn't you be confused to shit too? But
See the little tears in Eartha Kitt's eyes.
yeah.
The ghosts look like ghosts from like 1930s cartoons.
Oh God! And he exploded.
The ghost farts as it leaves our plane of existence. See, there's Leahy on the far left there.
Yeah, there's freaking Leahy. And the sound effect there sounded like fucking lottery machines.
Yeah.
Gagnon.
Wouldn't it be great if the bully kid comes out and nobody cared? Well, now the best part's going to happen because Rimshot's got to come back.
Of course. I don't know. You just confronted mythical creatures, man. It's a weird day.
You know something you don't see in a lot of kids' movies?
What?
The parents wearing wedding rings. And this, I just noticed it here. They were.
I notice a lot of single parents in modern movies.
Yeah.
Now, here's a dark twist on this.
Yeah.
Some of those kids, their parents are long dead.
Well, those kids' parents would all be dead. She's supposed to be like the younger...
Yeah, because that's their sisters.
The younger sister and then the friends, I guess, of them. So if she's supposed to be in this like 80-something, right? Because like they're dressed like 1900.
Yeah, that's when this took place in the 1900s something.
They're like, first of all, what's a car?
Why are you all dressed so strange? Although, you know what's weird? This would have been a much different movie had this been under the haunted house aspect that they originally pitched.
Yeah.
But
here we go.
But this is better, I think. This works better as a monster movie.
Here we go, little buddy.
Those little dogs, I love. I had a neighbor growing up who had one of those, and that dog Sparky was so loyal and so obedient.
They can be temperamental though, and moody. I've heard.
Yes,
they need a lot of attention, and they need to be the most important. There's a good way to end the movie.
Mm-hmm. So that is Ernest Scared Stupid. This movie, obviously, as we've talked about, is a cult classic. It is one of the most enduring children's Halloween movies that I can think of like all time. Like, it's got great set design other than there's no licensed costumes, which is funny because this movie was produced by Disney. So why not throw some Disney shit in there? I don't know. Like there isn't a lot about this movie that I can say that's bad.
It's a well put together kids movie, and it obviously would have been panned by critics because critics generally didn't like any of his films except for Camp.
I think this was the only Ernest movie that was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert, and it got a thumbs down. But this movie has definitely found a second life in home video and everything else.
We're notorious for not understanding a lot of markets that were outside of what they got.
Like, this is one of these movies, like, if you were to set up a Halloween movies for your kids, you could do this and Monster Squad and Hocus Pocus as a triple threat in one day. And that's fantastic.
And if you wanted to make a whole day of it, you could throw in some more modern ones like, was it the Halloween Town trilogy?
Yep. And those are available to stream on Disney Plus. Yeah, like, honestly, kids' Halloween movies have evolved so much past It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, which I will gladly go on record and say, fuck that movie. I'd rather watch this.
I don't like, hot take, I hate everything Charlie Brown.
I'm not the biggest fan of the property, but obviously the standout actor in this is Jim Varney. That guy gave 110% in everything he did. Didn't matter whether it was a stupid commercial, didn't matter whether it was a small part here and there. He was great as Slinky Dog in the Toy Story movies. I don't
recognize any of the other actors.
I thought I keep thinking that one kid is the kid from the Monster Squad, but I don't think he acted past that movie.
And look, even the people in the suits weren't anybody.
Kids Army, I don't recognize any of these names.
Yeah,
Bugle Boy.
Yeah.
This was filmed on location in Tennessee, I think, or in Kentucky, I think.
It would have been, yeah. The next film is when they moved all the productions to BC.
So that's pretty much going to do it for us. We'll share a couple more closing thoughts before the final thing locks here. Pick this up. I mean, or if you stream it, share this with people. Like, really get out there and spread the love of Ernest, because he's a fantastic film character. One of the most enduring comedy characters of all time. And
it is one of the cheapest Blu-rays too.
Yeah, like it's like $5-10, like no matter where you go, and you can show this to anybody. Other than that, though, coming up on the site in the next couple days, there is a remote possibility of some downtime as our transition to the new servers happen. But we are going to have James Rolfe's Angry Video Game Nerd special, where we talk about Universal Monster movies. We are also going to have my review of Watch Dogs Legion on Xbox One. We are going to be covering it on Next Gen, which is PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. When those consoles become available, we are waiting on code from Ubisoft for PS4. So you're going to get the Xbox One version first.
We're waiting on code and hardware for some of it, but you're going to have the current gen review.
Yeah, and it's pretty obvious I'm a big fan of the Watch Dogs franchise, so I'll have some pretty extensive and deep thoughts on that.
Whereas I come from somebody who's never played the franchise, so it's interesting that we're going to have a bit of a discussion there, I think. Yeah,
so we got a lot of good stuff coming up for you guys in the future. We have next-gen systems pre-ordered, ready. Coverage is ready to go. Embargoes are sitting there waiting to be lifted. So, again, thank you for joining us. Now that we know we can do these things remote, we did have a hiccup, which you will never know when that happened if Alex does the editing right.
Well, it's possible you'll know. But...
yeah. You'll figure that out.
And if you do, you win a prize, and the prize is our everlasting love, I think.
Thank you for noticing.
Don't forget to stock up on your Bulgarian Miak.
That's right, because it's hard to find at this time of year. Also, I would like to invite people to like our pages on Facebook and Instagram and our Twitter. So be sure to look for those. We definitely appreciate all the support you guys have all given us.
And if you can, we're still primarily audio. If you go to This Week in Geek on YouTube and give us a sub, we're going to start putting out more video content when it comes to unboxing, reviews. And the plan is in the new year to do some more streaming. So, we're venturing forth into the new and interesting world of video.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We also have plans for a massive new actual play podcast here on the show launching in 2021. It is in the stages of pre-production right now. So look forward to that. I'm super excited for it. I haven't been this excited to do a podcast in a very long time. And it should be stuff. And also, to force myself to do it, I will have a review and my first book review for the Birdman's book club. A slightly different direction than I was going to take, but it's a book I've been looking forward to for quite some time. That should be out in the next 2 weeks, give or take, if I don't die from this console launch. So anyway.
Yes, agreed. Same.
That being said, thank you for joining us. So until next time, we have been
Alex, the producer.
I've been Mike the Birdman saying be excellent to each other. Guys, have a safe and happy Halloween. Have some candy, watch some scary movies, and keep it locked to ThisWeekInGeek.net for more great geek content.
Well, that's our show. All right, here's the deal. Every time you watch my show, I will send you $40.
Checks will not be honored.
You've been listening to This Week in Geek, your source for guaranteed nonsense or your money back. Tune in next week for more info on the most important things you didn't need to know. Check out our website at ThisWeekInGeek.net and subscribe to our podcast through iTunes or any podcatcher. If you'd like to comment on this episode, head over to this episode's post at ThisWeekInGeek.net and leave a comment through Facebook Connect. Follow us on Twitter at ThisWeekInGeek.net and follow our Instagram at TWIG_official_podcast. Social media not your thing? Send us an email at feedback@ThisWeekInGeek.net. We'll see you next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
Just when you think this show is terrible, something wonderful happens.
What?
It ends.
I have to go. Somewhere there is a crime happening.
Oh, you're so cute.